Hey guys, it's Alex Beeden here. Welcome to another episode of Chatty Tuesday. I'm out here on my balcony. Today we're going to be talking about something super interesting. Okay, so as you may or may not know, my business specializes in creating Photoshop actions for professional photographers. They are, for those of you who don't know, professional editing tools that photographers can use to edit their images in really beautiful, effective ways with just a simple click of a button like that, right? So I'm super wrapped up in my business at the moment, and I'm really thinking about how can I push the boundaries, how can I go to that next level, how can I go to that next step. And so my latest business question really has been, how can I use Instagram as not just like for fun, as a way to share with my fans like what's going on in my life, but also how can I use it in more of a strategic way? How can I use it as an effective marketing channel? So before I dive into all of the different things I've been thinking about lately, I really want to prepare you or warn you because I feel like lots of people think that business is just some kind of special formula that they haven't figured out yet. And I really just want to make it super clear that business is not a formula. There is not like a step-by-step guide that if you follow it to the T, you're going to experience massive success. That's not how it works. For every different situation, there are different variables, different circumstances, and therefore different outcomes. So what you really need to do when you listen to videos like this are listen to the lessons, right? Listen to the strategies that are discussed and really walk away from it using your own brain, thinking, how can I use what I've just learned in my own special, unique way and apply that to my business in a way that's going to work for me, my business, and my brand? Because what works for one company is not going to work for you. It's just really good to look at other companies for inspiration, just to see what's working for them and to see if there's any lessons that you can learn and transform for your own business, right? So we're talking about Instagram strategy. And what I started to realize is that when you're talking about using your Instagram for your business, I really have to be clear with you on this because I'm not talking about, your personal account. If you want to have a personal account and take pictures of whatever you want, go right ahead, but do not connect it to your business, right? So when you're using Instagram for your business, what you really want to start to do is use it strategically. And when you use it strategically, you start to realize that every single thing that you post, every single photograph, every single video, it matters because it's a direct representation of your brand and business. You are teaching people through your communication with them on Instagram how to feel about your brand and business. So it's super important that you get it right and that you're at least thinking about it when you're doing it, right? Okay, so what I wanted to talk to you guys about today in specific or in particular, whatever. What I wanted to talk to you guys about today is the company Oreos, right? Oreos is an amazing cookie company, and lots of people love them. Lots of people don't really like them. I personally don't eat many Oreos, but I can sure understand why many people would. But either way, they're a really great case study for Instagram, and I'm going to tell you why. So I'm not sure if you watched their Super Bowl ad, but they did a Super Bowl ad this year that I'm going to walk you through it so that you get the idea. Two men sitting in a library, one's eating Oreos, and they're whispering back and forth, and they start arguing about what's the best part of the Oreo, the cookie or the cream. So one's like, cookie, the other's like, cream, cookie, cream, cookie, cream, and then all of a sudden, they're fighting, but they're whispering because they're in a library. This guy, or maybe it's a woman, I don't know, comes up from behind them and slams them with a chair, and this huge fight erupts, and everyone's like, cookie, cream, and it's just so funny because you've got this weird juxtaposition of this total chaos. There's this huge fight going on in the library, but everyone's whispering. And what happens is that the fire alarm goes off. All of a sudden, firemen show up, and they're like, where's the fire? And then there's a police officer who shows up. They burst through the doors, and they're like, everyone has to stop. I'm the police. Anyway, it's really funny. Basically, just a huge whisper argument about what's better, cream or cookies, in the library. And this is the important part, guys. At the end of the Super Bowl commercial, it basically this pretty screen comes up and it gives you a direct call to action, and I'm going to read it so I don't get it wrong. They say, choose your side on Instagram, and then they follow it with their username at Oreo, right? So they have this cool funky ad that really gets your attention, and then at the end, they give you a direct call to action to go to their Instagram page and tell them what you prefer, cookies or cream, right? Because that's what the whole ad was about. So what's interesting about this is that within 3 minutes, my friend, 3 minutes of the ad being played, Oreo became the fastest growing Instagram account in all history, right? So lots of people are going to say, you know, they spend so much money on that ad campaign. Was it really worth it? If they've done something successfully enough to beat all of the records and to actually make history, then to me, they're doing something that's worth at least looking at and at least seeing if there's any lessons to learn from that, right? So then they took it a step further. They started to ask their fans and their friends, their followers, to use the hashtags cream this and cookie this, right? So you have to use one or the other. And this is what would happen. So let's just take this bonsai tree, for example. Let's say that I took an Instagram picture of it and I said, cream this, right? If my image was chosen as a winner by Oreo, what they did was they had a group of artists come in and turn those winning Instagram photos into sculptures of either cream or cookies. So if I said cream this and it won, they would literally make a sculpture of this made out of cream from an Oreo. Well, from multiple Oreos, obviously, because it would take a lot of cream. But so you get the idea, right? What was really cool about this is that they would kind of post like a before and after. So they'd have the before picture up at the top and then the after picture, which was the sculpture made out of cookies or cream. And what they did was they tagged the winning photographer, who's obviously has an Instagram account. And I thought it was really, really cool because I know that if I had won that, if I saw my picture made out of cream or made out of cookie, I would definitely re-Instagram that, and it would definitely spark a lot of buzz and attention and talk about what it was that they're doing. And actually it did. So at the end of this, right, here's what happened. They ended up having 33 photos on the Instagram Explore page, and they also had the #1 spot on the Reddit page, the front Reddit page, right? So all of this is great. They're building buzz through Instagram. They're connecting with their audience through Instagram. They're really building those relationships, and then it gets even better, right? So this is another thing that they do, or that they did, that I absolutely loved. For that Super Bowl, for the time that the Super Bowl was live, they basically had a creative team live and waiting for any major event to take place so that if something did happen, they could quickly react to it and post something on Instagram. Basically, I guess to keep people interested, because they just asked everyone to go and follow them on Instagram, and you know, they wanted to have that live interaction, which I really, really love. So here's what they did. If you will remember properly, during this year's Super Bowl, there was a blackout, guys. It blacked out, I think it was after Beyonce's live performance, and what Oreo did on Instagram was they created an image of an Oreo. There was a spotlight around the Oreo. Everything else around the Oreo was black, and the tagline was, and I quote, "You can still dunk in the dark." And I thought that was just brilliant because they tied it in so beautifully to their brand, and it really gave you this feeling of immediacy. It made you feel like, you know, you're a part of them, like it's just kind of cool when there's a big cultural event like the Super Bowl going on and you have a big brand like Oreo who's interacting with you in that way. I think that's really cool. So A+ to them for that. So what can we learn from this? What can we learn from Oreo's use of Instagram? Two main things, right? Two main things I want you to go home with today. Two main things that I want you to be brainstorming about as you go through your day or as you go through your week. #1, how can you use competitions on Instagram? Or it doesn't even have to be a competition, but just how can you spark that engagement? Oreo used a competition. You don't have to use a competition. I want you to find something that works for you, something that would work for your people, work for your customers. They did a really excellent job of this. They got people involved with their cookie this, cream that, or whatever. But what can you do? I want you to really think about that. How can you use competitions? How can you use Instagram to spark that type of engagement with your community? And the second lesson that I learned from Oreo's Instagram strategy is the fact that they are they had that feeling of immediacy with their Super Bowl live creative team waiting with the whole you can still dunk in the dark. I thought that was freaking brilliant, right? So I think the lesson from that is to be as relevant as you possibly can, but it still has to tie into your brand. So they didn't just put a picture of an Oreo and say, oh, how funny, there's a blackout at the Super Bowl, ha ha ha. There's a helicopter flying above, so I'm really sorry if it gets really loud. They tied it into their brand, right? So everyone knows that you dunk that you dunk Oreos into milk, right? Or, yeah, I guess that's all that anyone really dunks Oreos into. So I think it was really cool that they tied it into their brand in that way. And if you're going to use something like that, if you're going to use that whole cultural references thing, you need to do it in a way that builds your brand. You need to do it in a way that's funny if your brand is funny, that's inspiring if your brand's inspiring. So make sure that you think really carefully about that and be smart about it, be witty about it. People love that kind of stuff. So I hope you enjoyed today's amazing episode of Chatty Tuesday. I'm about to go enjoy my spinning class. I'm going to bike hard. And then I'm going out for drinks and dinner with my fabulous lady friends. And what I really want to know from you guys before I go, I want you to scroll down to the comment section and I want you to tell me how you currently use Instagram and how you see yourself using Instagram in the future. What is your dream brand for your brand on Instagram? That made no sense. What is your dream Instagram strategy for your brand, right? So for me, I really want to be able to connect with people in a way that's so relevant to my brand. And I want to hear if you guys have any ideas on how you're going to do that. What types of competitions could you run on Instagram? What types of ways could you be relevant with your target market on Instagram? Oreo's done such an amazing job of this. They're still doing an amazing job of this. And I'd really love to hear your opinions on the matter. So leave a comment, my friend. And I really, really look forward to hearing from you again soon. I will talk to you next week, lovers. Have a good one. Bye.